Thanks for staying with us. Now, it's alarming to see how many children have gone missing in the country. Missing Children South Africa statistics says at least 77% of children, missing children rather, are found. Sadly, 23% is either found dead or trafficked. Children are almost deemed most vulnerable to gender-based violence. To discuss this further, we are joined by Missing Children South Africa's Bianca van Aswegen. Thank you so much for your time, Bianca. We do appreciate it. Maybe just tell us about this worrying picture and how dire it is, especially for children in South Africa.
Good evening. Yes, just to clarify quickly, the 77% of children being found, those are the stats of our organization. So that is not even the stats of, all the cases that has been reported in South Africa. The last official stats that was released by the Missing Persons Bureau of South Africa, that's part of the South African Police Services, was in 2013, where it stated one child goes missing every 5 hours. Now, we as an organization see an increase in cases being reported to us yearly. And especially after COVID, we've seen an increase, especially with kidnappings and human trafficking happening. And those are the most vulnerable victims, are our children out there.
I do understand that it's estimated, an unaudited SAPS figure shows a child goes missing every 5 hours in South Africa.
Yes, this is, like I mentioned, this was put out in 2013. Unfortunately, no new stats has been released. The only latest stats that we have received that was put out with the crime statistics was that kidnapping has increased with 133% in South Africa. And we as an organization see that, not just with our children, but adult cases too, because we deal with different kinds of kidnappings that are happening. We've got our human trafficking, we've got ransom kidnappings, opportunistic kidnappings, parental abductions that are happening. It is really getting out of hand. And unfortunately, the true reality of stats will never really be known, as stats only gives us a general indication of what is going on in our country. Many children actually go unreported by rural people living in rural areas that are unable to get to a police station to report their child as missing, illegal immigrants that are too scared to go open a case, or people just being shown away by the police and do not trust the police to assist them. So the true severity of what we're dealing with in South Africa is beyond what we actually see on a daily basis.
I think there's a lot of underreporting and a lot of mistrust with communities and the police. I want to speak about the role that the police play in all of this, whether or not they are assisting, because it just seems as though the picture's very grim and it's not really getting better, especially because of the underreporting.
Yes. Now, we as an organization work very closely with our South African Police Services. And in the last few years, especially our children's cases has gone to the FCS unit within SAPS. And we've seen a massive increase in the turnaround of children being found quicker and safer, when the FCS units are involved. We've also got our specialized units within the police that are dealing with these kidnapping cases, and also within our Hawks that are specialized in these human trafficking cases. But unfortunately, we do still get those cases where the police are telling families to please wait 24 hours before reporting a case. That does not exist. There's absolutely no waiting period in reporting a person or child as missing in our country. And that is also where we as an organization come in. We support families. We tell them what to do. We take them through the process if they don't know what to do. That is where the education comes in within our communities, to educate them on what to do when a person or a child goes missing. But our South African Police Services are trying their best. Unfortunately, as I said, we do get cases where they are not very helpful. But we as an organization, we work with them and we're trying to do everything possible to find these children that have been reported as missing, stand against human trafficking and also the kidnappings that are happening in our country.
I'm very glad that you mentioned the fact that there is no 24-hour rule to report if somebody is missing, because that's often what's been infiltrated in the minds of those who perhaps want to report this. And it's important to know that there is no waiting period. If you find somebody that's, or you know someone, your loved one that's missing, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, you have a right to get to a police station and report they're missing. I want us to quickly speak about government's intervention, NGOs, and any other stakeholder that should come together and assist in trying to make sure that every child is safe in this country and that we don't have these alarming statistics.
Definitely. This is very important. I think there's so many departments that can stand together, but one of the main problems that we are seeing is the communication and the collaboration between these departments. Say, for instance, us as NGOs, the government, our police, even our health department, our educational department, social development. There's a gap. There's no collaboration. There's no communication. And if we all don't stand together, this problem is going to escalate even further. And we're sitting already with a problem that is out of hand. And if we're not going to stand together and address this problem and put a strategy together, unfortunately, I don't see a very good future for South Africa and our children.
Just lastly, Bianca, do we know how many children are unaccounted for at the moment in South Africa?
Unfortunately, we don't have specific stats on that, but there was research done, and there was approximately 100,000 cases reported in the last 20 years. I think it was 20 years within South Africa, whereof 33,000 have not yet been found. Those are unofficial stats that has not yet been released. But yes, that is kind of what we are looking at the moment. But we've got so many cold cases, and we as an organization try to refeature those cold cases to make sure the attention is always there. Someone knows something, so we need to share our flyers. People need to stand and back us as an organization to help us to do everything possible to find these children that are missing.
Certainly, and I think it takes the work of everybody, every South African that knows anything or has seen anything. It's important that we all work together to keep the children of this country safe. Thank you so much for your time. That's Missing Children SA's Bianca van Aswegen. Thank you for speaking to us tonight. Now,